Hello, everybody. Welcome to Rounding Third. It has been a bit since we did this. This is our first episode of Rounding Third here on the Nats Report. So in this show, it's just instead of our normal Nats show, we're going to be covering not just the Nationals, but everything that's happening in baseball. All
Crazy.
task. Because there's lots going around in baseball. But we're gonna do our best to get you all the best news, all the most important stuff that's going on. I am your host, Jeremy Lapidus, joined as always by my friend and host.
Hayden Raymer.
Uh, so yeah, it's gonna be a big show. We've got a lot to talk about. The Phillies are on a tear right now, and the Nationals are about to play them. So that's gonna be some fun. But the Phillies are on a tear. Other teams, not so much. But Hayden, where do you want to start?
I think we gotta start with the Phillies. I mean, that's kind of
Got
what you kind of hinted at. And it would be
it.
weird to then just pivot to one of our other topics today. It would be a little
Anything
off.
else?
Uh, yeah. I mean, we might as well start with the Phillies. I mean, they're 31 and 13. Uh, pretty good. Uh, I guess my first question for you, Jeremy, is: Are they the best team in baseball?
Uh, Best team in baseball?
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, right now. Yeah, I think so. They're on a 15-3 run right now. It's like the second best in their franchise history. Phillies have been around for quite some time. Uh, their pitching staff is insane. You have four pitchers with a sub 3 ERA. Uh, insane. You don't get numbers like that.
Yeah.
It's just not a thing that happens.
Yeah, no, I mean, we all knew Zach Wheeler was, like, insane. Really good pitcher. We all knew Aaron Nola, I mean, listen, the haters doubted, but Aaron Nola has been, like, how we were like, oh man, Sandy Alcantara, like, a couple seasons ago? Well, Aaron Nola's that. Like, and he's been that forever. So he got his big payday. He's been dominating. Ranger Suarez has been like the awkward yeah, he's the third best starter on the team. That's more because like everybody else is like terrible. But he's been really good this year. And then Christopher Sanchez just comes out and he's just like, you know what? I'm just gonna just be a really good left-handed starter now. And that's what he did. Uh, it's just like that pitching staff is so good. The bullpen, it's not like as dominant, but it's still like really good. Like they're just like, in my opinion, they're the most well-rounded team in baseball right now. Uh, I mean, offensively, like there's still stuff to be left desired, but I think like they're getting contributions up and down the lineup, which I don't think you can say about every other team in baseball.
Right. And this is what the Phillies do every year, right? Their offense starts slow and then summer hits and the bats wake up, you know? So I'm not too concerned that the bats aren't all the way there yet. If we're the Phillies here, I'm not too concerned about that.
Yeah.
The big difference for me from this year from a lot of other years is their defense. Their defense hasn't been awful, and really that's what we're seeing. We're seeing them take that next step because the defense isn't the worst in baseball
the
anymore.
the
You know?
wonders of having Bryce Harper not have to be a DH, uh, and the wonders of letting one of your two DHs that you're playing in the outfield every day DH. It's man, incredible. Oh,
It makes a huge difference.
uh, yeah, no, it really does. And I mean Trey Turner just went on the IL recently. He was doing really well. He was like a top 30 player, like position player in baseball before he got hurt. Uh, obviously Bryce Harper, he's Bryce Harper. He's gonna be good every year. And then Alec Bohm and Bryson Stott were both like just they're both doing really well. Uh, and then like I said, I mean obviously they're having the opposite of the start that the Nationals had in 2019. But like team structure, it's very similar. right? Like you've got like that young, like light hitting, great defensive center fielder. You've got, you know, those really good veteran pieces who are playing well. And Trey Turner, uh, Trey Turner's on the IL. He was on the IL in that 2019 season. Dots are connecting. Uh, and you've got like a really good top four of that pitching staff. You've got like two or three really good bullpen arms, and the rest it's kind of like ah. Uh, but those two or three are really great. Gregory Soto, Jose Alvarado, uh, blanket on the righty. Sir Anthony Dominguez are all really great. Uh, like I don't know how you could say this team is like not the best team in baseball. And just if the disparity between them and other teams statistically wasn't big enough, they're about to play. They play a game against the Mets today. They play against the Nats in a three-game set. And then they hit the road, and they're gonna play the Rangers, the Rockies, and the Giants. And then they play a game against the Cardinals. Like they could like just widen that gap between them and the rest of the league over the rest of this month.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Um, their schedule, it's looking good, and luck is a part of baseball. Obviously,
Yeah,
getting good matchups is a part. They're not going 15-3 against the Dodgers playing them 18 times.
yeah,
That's not happening.
no,
But it, it, they've been on a tear. That team has been really good. They've been powered by their pitching, which is my favorite way to power a baseball team.
yeah,
But it's fun to watch. The Phillies are very good. Uh, I understand why people might say they're not the best because they're not super flashy right now. You know, you have teams out there like the Dodgers, like the Orioles, or like the Yankees, that are flashier. That are they have the more exciting kind of moments, I would say. But the Phillies just have been so consistently great that I think they're the best team in baseball right now.
yeah. No, who's even the other team that you would say? The Dodgers, I think.
Yeah,
The
the
Dodgers or the
Dodgers are the
Orioles.
I yeah.
Yeah.
You can't say the Braves because the Braves are behind them in the division. Um,
Well, and we got some. Speaking of the Braves, we could pivot now. If you would like, do you want to pivot now? Let's pivot now. All right. Braves. Sorry, you're like, yeah, no, that's what I'm trying to do. Like, come on, hurry up. Uh, the Braves, they're 26-14, but they feel like they're bad.
yeah, the offense just has not been there for the Braves, and obviously losing Spencer Strider earlier this season is a huge, huge blow to them. Now it's not going to be the end of the world because the rest of that pitching staff is still stacked. Charlie Morton, Chris Sale, the rest of those guys, very, very good at pitching the baseball. But
Reynaldo
you take a
Lopez.
look at yeah, you take a look at the bats and they've been kind of struggling, and it's not the end of the world because they still have some bats that are hitting. Orlando Arcia, uh,
It's
pretty good.
Marcell Ozuna. We can just all admit it. Marcell Ozuna is like literally put this team on his back, or this offense on his back. That man is like the
Yeah.
best hitter of baseball right now, not named Shohei Ohtani or Mookie Betts. Which good for him. That's not the guy who I'd prefer that to be the best hitter in baseball, but it's okay. And Chris Sale, he's been. Hey, if the Phillies had Chris Sale in that rotation, the best hit rotation ever. Chris Sale's been so good this year. Uh,
He's been so good.
he's vintage Chris Sale. This year. Uh, I don't know, man. I don't know why teams trade with the Braves anymore. Like it's just we talk about like the Rays and like their fleeces. The Braves traded like nothing for Aaron Bummer, and they traded Vaughn Grissom, who is like Joey Meneses level bad. Uh, like it's just it's not. I don't. Yeah. Sorry. That I got a little upset when I see Braves trades.
It's the Atlanta Magic right now.
Yeah.
But like we were talking about with the Phillies, both of those teams, their bats aren't all the way there. The Braves, it's a little more obvious, um, but summer hasn't hit yet, and with summer, warm weather comes the awakening of the bats. So I'm not too concerned yet. Now, come the end of June, this is still happening, and then we can start to be concerned. But right now for the Braves, they're still 26-14 right now.
Yeah.
And their bats are struggling
Yeah.
considerably. That's
Like
a good spot to be in,
yeah.
you know?
When you're 26 and 14 and Matt Olson, Ronald Acuna Jr. and Austin Riley have been like barely above league average bats, yeah, I think you're gonna be in a good spot. Come August.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not worried about them. I'm really not. Uh, there's lots of other things you can cut. There's always holes in teams. You can look at one and you can look at any team in the league other than the Phillies or the Dodgers maybe, and say,
The
yeah,
Dodgers
they've
have
got holes.
holes.
They've got holes, but they're
The,
they're patchable. They're all
yeah,
patchable.
because they're all on the IL. Like uh, but no, I mean the Braves, fun stat, bottom five offense since the famous day Kyrie Ruiz returned from the IL, April 25th.
I'm glad that's our benchmark.
That's our benchmark. Yeah, no, they've been really bad since then.
Yeah, no, they have been. They've been very bad. But
Uh,
they'll be able to turn it
yeah,
around
rough
here.
3 week stretch,
Uh,
no biggie.
yeah, no, they'll be fine. Um, other surprises to this MLB season. I've been surprised how good the Central teams have been. All of them,
Okay, yeah,
not all of them, but like the top teams in the AL and NL Central. Uh, they have been really good, really really good actually. And when we were talking before, I know we were saying how these divisions were going to be mediocre with one playoff team in them, and it's just it hasn't really it's been kind of the opposite.
yeah. No, I mean it has. I mean the Royals. I mean, I think we, I think we knew all these teams were gonna like compete for the divisions. I just like the record. I think is what's surprising people. You know, like the Guardians are 27 and 17, the Royals are 26 and 19, the Twins are 24 and 18. You know, and meanwhile, in the AL West, you've got two teams above 500.
Right.
Uh, and
And the Astros aren't one of them.
the Astros are not one of them. The Astros have a worse record. It's the Oakland A's.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll,
I
we'll, we'll
can't
get
wrap
back
my
to
head
that. We'll,
around
we'll
that.
get we'll get back to that. Uh,
We'll get there.
we'll get there. NL Central. I mean, the Brewers are winning that. The Cubs are right behind them, and then it falls off pretty hard. But yeah. I mean, I think they've just like the West divisions have been worse than we thought they were gonna be. And I
Yeah.
mean, that's really what it boils down to. I don't know. I mean, who do you have? Do you still have, or I guess has your opinion changed on who's gonna run away with these divisions yet, or who's gonna end up winning it, or are you kind of still where you were to start the year?
From the Central, I believe, and I don't have this written down, I don't think, but I believe I had the Royals and the Brewers. I
I
don't
think
remember who I
I
had.
think we both had the Royals and the Brewers. I'm gonna be honest.
Um, so I'm not like, super ready to change my mind. It's just the more surprising thing, like you said, is the record. Like I expected these to be tight races.
Yeah,
I expected these to be tight races around 500 though, not tight races around around like what's the win percentage? Like 600, like
Oh,
eight
you're making
seven
me go to
fifty,
a
something like
different.
that.
You're making me go to a different site, Jeremy. Come on, man. Can't use the Fangraphs just standings tab real quick. Standings. Do, 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 do. 614, 578, 571. 605, 568.
Yeah, I mean these are better, these are better win percentages than I expected it to be. And again, it's early in the season.
Yeah.
These are still tight races. There's lots of season to play. Everything's going to go the way it goes. But I'm not ready to make any drastic changes to my opinions this early yet.
Yeah, no. I mean, I think I think the biggest surprise has been the Guardians here though.
Yeah, the Guardians have always had the tools, right? Like we go back what 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, they were really good. They had J-Ram was an MVP candidate. All their young guys were hitting. Their pitching staff was there, and it was doing great. They had the great bullpen, and then last year they fall off a cliff. Uh, the tools are all there for the Guardians, and I think sometimes we forget after an awful year that the pieces are still there. They're just clicking again.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm guilty of that too. I'm not sitting here saying, "Oh, I told you they were there." I forgot.
Yeah.
I did.
No, I
Last
mean,
season
it's
left an ugly taste in my mouth.
uh no, I'm sorry. I forget how good like Emmanuel Clase has 21 innings and a .42 ERA.
Yeah, he's so good.
He's so good. Uh
And J-Ram hasn't even like
J Ram's
ramped
not
up
hitting.
yet,
He's not hitting. Yeah. Uh I mean, it's all Stephen Kwan and Josh Naylor right now. And Andres Jimenez, being a league average hitter and being like the greatest defensive second baseman in the league. And just to think, they haven't called up their two top position player prospects yet.
No.
They still got Kyle Manzardo and former JMU Duke. Oh, now I forgot it. I remember JMU Duke and now I forgot it. Jeremy, save me,
Okay,
please.
I'm also blanking on his name.
Uh,
Uh, it's okay.
Chase the
Doesn't matter.
ladder.
Chase Stillwater. Yep.
There we go. Sorry, took me a minute there. Too many names in this head, man. Yeah. I mean, did you have any other thoughts about the Central?
I mean, yeah, like I said, the Central's just been a lot better, and with the new MLB schedules, with every team playing each other, I think it'll, even itself out a little bit. But still, very impressed by these Central teams. What I've not been impressed by are the Houston Astros. And Hayden, I'm gonna need your help on this one, okay?
Yeah.
I'm gonna need a lot of your assistance on this
Okay.
because the Astros are very good at baseball. You see, they have people on their team that are very good at baseball. Their batting core is still there, and it's a young core. Why, Hayden? Why are they so bad?
So, I mean, there's two things, right? So we talk about like, you know, how do we score runs, Jeremy, right? Typically, your correlation between like your OPS and your runs scored is pretty high. Uh, the Astros like by OPS like metric, but like WRC plus, uh, they're like a top six, top five offensive baseball, right? But they're like middle of the pack when it comes to actually scoring runs. So there's some bad luck with like the timing of their hits. They're just not stringing them together. That sort of stuff typically kind of comes around, and it usually works itself out as the season goes on. We still got to remember we're like a month and a half into the season and there's 162 games. Like there's some time
Right,
left. But they have like the worst pitching staff in baseball. Like there's Josh Hader has been solid. He hasn't been like Josh Hader, like the guy who you just paid all that money to. Ryan Presley, who was like before Josh Hader came in, was like one of the best closers in baseball. He's been good, but it's like he's putting up performances that you'd expect from like a solid setup guy than Ryan Presley. Uh, and it doesn't help that their second best starter just got suspended for foreign substances. Uh,
Yeah,
like things look bad in Houston, the Space City, as the kids call it. Uh, and yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just I feel like it's a bad take to be like, "Hey man, this is what happens when you just like scoff at analytics, the thing that made you like the best team in baseball, uh, and just kind of just go off vibes, completely and totally." Uh, but I mean that's kind of what happened. I mean, Alex Bregman has been really bad this year. Uh, at least for
right.
what you
But like,
expect Alex Bregman to be. Uh, I mean, Jose Abreu has been like just like that's not what you want a player to be. You don't want a player to be worth negative 1.2 F4 22 games into the season. Like from your
yeah,
first baseman.
I mean, and it's not just that they moved away from statistics. I mean, you have to remember this is a team that made the ALCS last year. This team is not that different from last year's team. It's in fact very, very similar. This is
Yeah.
a team that's made what, four straight ALCSs, something like that. They're very good.
They're the
This
closest thing we've had to a
regardless of
dynasty.
throwing right, regardless of throwing analytics out the window, your team doesn't fall off a cliff like this. And like you were saying, you look at some of the underlying numbers, they're not really falling off a cliff. The pitching has been bad, but a lot of that is due to injuries. Some of the guys that they've been counting on have been hurt, or when they come back have not been the same, right?
Yeah.
Um, but this team is still good enough to overcome that kind of woes you would expect at least. And it just hasn't turned out. And I don't know if again this is why I needed a lot of your help, Hayden. I don't know if this is all unlucky or because baseball, 162 games, a ball bounces off a rock, you're gonna score 100 runs.
Yeah.
Uh, it doesn't. You're getting perfect gamed. It's
Yeah.
it's it's stuff like that. Uh, that can change the course of a season but
Yeah.
it's just the disparity between what this Astros team was last year and what it is now, being worse than the Athletics.
Yeah. No, I mean
It's
like it really
it's
does boil down to pitching bad, man. Uh like Hunter Brown, who threw a lot of like really good innings for them last year, he has not been good. JP France, similar boat, he hasn't been good. Uh, Christian Javier, I believe, has been hurt. Verlander missed a bunch of the season. He hasn't been like Verlander when he's been healthy, which I mean he hasn't been Verlander for a couple years now. So it's not like that's expecting prime Verlander to show up. Uh, isn't really a strategy that they could have gone with. Yeah, Javier's missed some time. He hasn't been great. Framber Valdez has been good, but I mean he hasn't been great. It's just like it's like everybody in that pitching staff has taken a step backwards. Is essentially what's happened. And a lot of like the underlying numbers kind of support that too. It's not just like oh they're just scoring a lot of runs on us. It's like no, they've been bad. Like they just like the stuff's not the same. They're walking more guys. It's just they just haven't been good.
yeah, no, they really haven't. Uh, you know, uh, and I don't know. Do you think they can turn it around? Because I still believe in this team. I think they'll be able to turn it around, but they're kind of getting to that point where they have to start doing that, like now.
Yeah, I mean it's they can. I mean like it's just in that division every game matters, and in the AL especially like every game matters. And so I mean no lead is insurmountable. Like like they can come back and claw their way out of it, but I mean their playoff chances have deteriorated significantly since the start of the year. Fangraphs still has them at a slightly below 50% chance to make the playoffs, and they still have them at a 31.1% chance to win the division.
That's insane.
And I mean, that's like like there's some regression, positive regression due is kind of what the models are expecting, just because of how good the Astros have been historically, both like the players themselves, uh, and just like the franchise. But yeah, I mean like they're seventh in OPS, uh, and they're 14th in runs scored. Like it's their positive regression is expected on both sides of the ball. Uh, it's just like that kind of needs to be now, and not in a week
Yeah.
or in a
Yeah. No,
month,
it
even
needs to
worse.
start now. Yeah. On the other side of the coin here, Hayden, changing subjects a little bit. I want to talk a little bit about the AL East because
Okay.
that is an interesting division to me. You have at the
Okay.
top two of the top contenders in the entirety of baseball in the Yankees and the Orioles.
Uh huh.
And then the Red Sox are doing whatever the Red Sox are doing, kind of floating around being a good team or a bad team. Same thing with the Rays right now, who are on a pretty good stretch, but started the season off pretty poorly. Uh, what do you make of the AL East?
I mean, Juan Soto's been doing Juan Soto things. It's kind of hard to lose ball games when a single player has put the entire franchise on his back. And that's what he's done. Uh, the not the A's, the O's, the Orioles are just a really good team. Uh, Despite like not having a true closer, like they're one of the best teams in baseball. When they find a closer, they're going to be up there with the Phillies. Because I mean, Gunnar Henderson, Adley Rutschman, Jordan Westburg, Colton Cowser have all been like insane this year. Uh, I mean, it's just hard. I don't know, man. The Red Sox, they need hitting. I don't think they're gonna buy at the deadline, and so I have a hard time seeing them be a wild card contender just because the lineup is not gonna cut it. And I mean, they have two of the best pitchers in baseball. I mean, it feels like in every single show and every single topic we've talked about today, it's like, oh, best pitchers in baseball. But Tanner Hawk and Cutter Crawford have been really good. Uh, and you can't discount that. And I mean, the Yankees have Clay Holmes, who Yankees fans think is a bad closer. Uh, I don't know
Is
where you're
zero
getting that.
ERA.
0 ERA, but he's not a good closer. I don't know. Uh, I mean, that bullpen is just really setting them up. Luke Weaver has been like insane for some reason. Uh, yeah, I don't know. I mean, Aaron Judge has got it going. Juan Soto's really good. Anthony Volpe is really good. I, man, Rays, they had a shortstop who was a historically great player, future Hall of Famer. Uh, would be really nice right now for them to make the
Slow
playoffs.
your roll on there. Future Hall of Famer is kind of crazy. Uh,
He was doing things that nobody was doing.
he'd been in the league for like a year and a half.
He's really good. Uh,
Plus, I'm not going to deny that, but I feel like regardless of what you're projecting, a year into someone's career, or
that's what we're
like
doing.
two
That's what they were
years,
doing with Juan Soto, man.
it's ridiculous.
He's a Juan Soto type talent,
Yeah, you're right. He was.
and
But still,
like to
I think
lose
that's
that
ridiculous to put
is
that tag on
hard.
him.
Okay, my bad. He was really good. Uh,
He was really good.
Red Sox. I mean, yeah, I think the Rays end up better than the Red Sox. I think the Yankees and the O's are probably the only two teams that make the playoffs out of here, though.
Yeah. I mean, I think really Yankees and the O's are a league of their own above the rest of the team. I think the other three teams in that division, the Jays, Rays, and Sox, all of
Jays are
them,
bad. We don't even include them in this conversation.
putting them in the list,
No,
Hayden.
they're
Uh,
not in this division. They don't deserve it.
uh,
I still
they're
keep
all
them.
just kind of floating.
Traded
in the
him
middle.
for the best defensive center fielder in baseball and played him in left field, Jeremy.
No, I know they did. I know they did, and I know you have a vendetta against the Blue Jays for that. But uh,
And then they
I
gave
mean, they do good things.
uh,
But yeah, no, the Orioles and the Yankees. That's a fun little series to watch at the top of that division. Uh, I'm very excited to see how that goes. Um, one last thing before, at least one last thing that I had, or one last question, Hayden. What's your biggest surprise team of this season so far? Like good or bad? What's your biggest surprise team?
the Guardians. Yeah, I mean they've just been really good. They've been a lot better than I thought they were gonna be. Uh, I mean everything's kind of clicking. You know,
Yeah, no,
pitching's been
definitely.
good.
Uh,
Lineups, I mean Naylor and both Naylors and Quad have been really good. They've just, I mean, they're winning baseball games. How about you, Jeremy?
yeah, no, my biggest surprise team is probably, and it might not be that surprise to a lot of people, is the Cubs. I was really kind of low on the Cubs this season. Um, but they've been really good. You know, their bats have been there, uh, and the pitching has been pretty good for the Cubs as well. They've just been a very solid team, and I expected them to take a step back this season, and they just have not done that. Uh,
Yeah, I
I was
guess
a
the
Cubs hater,
more surprising thing for them is like their pitching has been as good as it is, and Justin Steele has been not as good as he has been. You know, like
right?
that's been the I think the bigger surprise. The bullpen, I mean, obviously was going to be good. Uh, the lineup, you know, Mike Talkman keeps doing things. I don't know, man. I don't know how he keeps doing it. The lineup's just solid. Uh, and I mean, like you said, the rotation's just been really good. Shota is somehow looking like the better of the two Japanese pitchers that came over right now.
Hmm.
Which I mean, yeah, his stuff's looked good. Looked good. Before he came over. But I mean, he's 30. The other guy's like not. He's way younger. So he's Yamamoto's gonna he'll be fine.
Yeah, no, I'm not too worried. I was maybe the biggest Cub hater heading into the season, and they've just been very good. They've been really good.
Yeah, no,
Uh,
I mean I think they were above definitely above the Pirates. Cardinals I didn't like. Uh, I'm just surprised the Reds have been as bad as they've been. But I mean it's still early. They're only 18 and 25.
yeah, they've been really bad recently. They had that hot stretch to start the season, and then
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean they played the Nats to start the season. Ellie's Ellie. Ellie's
yeah,
him.
no, he is. He's gonna do something special.
Yeah. We're not gonna throw that tag on him though. That tag that you
No,
didn't
no,
like.
I'm not ready to throw that tag on him. Actually,
No, he's definitely not. But the other
no.
guy, so stupid.
Anyway,
Anyway,
but yeah, thank you everybody
anyway,
so
yeah.
much for tuning in to rounding third. We'll be doing more of these probably every week, probably right after Nats report uh, here on uh here on the Nats report. New home for rounding third. Uh, I've been your host Jeremy Lapidus, joined as always by my friend and co-host.
Hey, Raymer. Make sure to check out all the Nats Report stuff. We got like game notes. If you want to get a little bit of reading before the games, both minor league and major league. Uh, you know, morning briefing obviously every weekday, written by me. And then just a bunch of other great content coming out. The Monday morning filibuster from Owen. And we got some Rochester content coming out, some Harrisburg content, or not Harrisburg, uh, Wilmington content coming out this week. So make sure to give it a read. Uh, yeah.
Yeah, go check us out. Thank you everybody so much for tuning